We are a river city, a bold city, the First Coast, a place to create and to belong. Here, the sun shines a little brighter, and so do the people. We share a love for our region, a pride for JAX, and a passion for the beautiful game, dedicated to giving everyone a sporting chance. Together, we will elevate soccer and sport in our community by lifting every voice. We are Sporting Club Jacksonville. We are Sporting JAX.
Hello and welcome into the Sporting JAX Report. I'm Cole Pepper. Coming up, Sporting JAX sees the first hat trick in club history, and the team gets another win on the road. Plus, we get to know former Gator Julia Lester, and a big development for local kids who want to work on their soccer skills. But let's start with last Sunday's game in Charlotte against Carolina Ascent. In mid-September, Sporting JAX faced Carolina Ascent at home. In that game, Jacksonville scored early and jumped out to a 2-0 lead, but couldn't hold on and had to settle for a draw. This time, the meeting came on the road. To Charlotte we go, where Ashlyn Puerta came into the game tied for the league lead in goals. Boy, would she add to her total in this one. Just 10 minutes into the game, Sporting JAX strikes first. Look at this passing. Julia Lester to Jade Pennick. Beautiful through ball for Paige Kenton, who centers one for Puerta on the back post run. And it's 1-0, Sporting JAX fourth goal of the year for Puerta. 23rd minute now. Meg Hughes with a hustle play. Picks it off, gets around the keeper. Her shot headed off the line, but who's there waiting for it? Puerta. Fifth goal of the season, second of the game. Sporting JAX leads 2-0. Take another look. This was a great job by Meg Hughes using that speed. The takeaway, and then Puerta always seems to find herself in the right spot, drills it home for the goal. Sporting JAX wasn't done. Ashlyn Puerta wasn't done. Just past the half hour, Puerta taking on a defender, and there it is, the first hat trick in Sporting JAX history, just the fourth in league history. She's the youngest player to score a hat trick in American women's professional soccer ever. But as we have seen this season, no lead is safe in the Gainbridge Super League. 38th minute, a shot comes in. Jamie Gerstenberg blocks it. But on the rebound, Riley Bazin is there to put it away. Carolina has life, 3-1. Second half, Carolina subs in Mackenzie George at the interval. And just 2 minutes in, she makes a difference. 3-0 lead is now down to 3-2. But Sporting JAX would respond. Another interception here. Paige Kenton beats the defender to the ball, goes around the keeper and scores her first professional goal. The lead is 4-2. Take another look. Another example of a hustle play and putting the pressure on defensively. Kenton right there and just picks out the spot and knocks it in. Sporting JAX with the lead 4-2. Mackenzie George would make it close in the 66th minute, but Sporting JAX hangs on, wins it 4-3 for the second away win of the season.
And I think it just took grit. Like, our team was really gritty today, and obviously we had moments that weren't going our way, and you know, we had slip-ups, but I think we just were gritty, and we were saying to each other, like, this is mentality at this point, and like every single person on the field who subbed in, everybody on the bench, like, the mentality was awesome.
And we take a look at the numbers from the game. A lot of shots in this one for both sides. A lot of Sporting JAX shots came early, 9 of them on target. Carolina then rallied, actually had more in terms of possession. No corners for Carolina Ascent. That was surprising as well. The big story, though, is 3 goals from Ashlyn Puerta, and she has been named as the Gainbridge Super League Player of the Month for September. And we now welcome in Becky Burleigh. Becky, it's a great win, but boy, they made it interesting.
The theme for me is never boring. Edge of your seat action all the time. And that's a great fan experience, to be fair. But no, to be really fair, I think what we have seen is Jacksonville can score on anyone. They can be in games with anyone. And the fact that Sporting JAX is in that place after every team that they're playing has had a year to tweak rosters, I think is a really impressive starting point.
All right, let's talk about Ashlyn Puerta. So impressive. She leads the league in goals. She is a factor in just about every match. It would be a great start if she was a veteran, but here we're talking about an 18-year-old. She just keeps impressing.
She does. And, sometimes people, I think, dismiss goal scoring and they'll look at it as like, okay, well, she was in the right place at the right time for that. I think that is a skill. I think there is a sense for people who are goal scorers and strikers that score a lot of goals to be in the right place at the right time. That is some instinct, but some very intentional movement. And that's what I see with Ashlyn, as I think she has that intentionality around where she wants to be around the goal.
Well, of course, there are improvements that can be made by this team, most notably defending with a lead. What would you like to see different in those scenarios?
It's so hard because if you think about your best defense being a good offense, you don't really want to change your identity, because if you can keep the ball, then you're really doing a great job of limiting the other team's options. But it's at the same time, there is a practicality of, for example, like building out of the back against a press, and more of a press when teams are down. Like, does there come a time where you have to have adaptability to what the situation is presenting itself? And I am 100% sure that the coaching staff at Sporting JAX is addressing those issues. I think we also have to be aware that, Sporting JAX has been up in a good number of these games. So of course they're going to face a ton of pressure, more pressure than they would if the game was even or if they were chasing it.
Becky, thanks so much. Let's take a look at the Gainbridge Super League standings here as Fort Lauderdale remains on top. No losses for Fort Lauderdale United. 2 points back. Lexington SC also without a loss. Sporting JAX up to 5th after the victory away. You can also see a big swing in terms of number of games played so far in the early portion of the season. We're a long way to go, but the top 4 teams will make the postseason. Sporting JAX in good position here in the early portions of the Gainbridge Super League campaign. Sporting JAX will have a chance to take another 3 points on the road this weekend against Brooklyn FC. It's the second of 3 straight away matches. For one Jacksonville player, defender Grace Philpotts, it's a homecoming. Philpotts began her professional career with Brooklyn last season. Now she'll be facing her former squad.
Definitely a big game. I learned a lot during my 6 months there, but I'm so happy to be here at Sporting JAX, and I'm excited. It'll be a good test for us. Yep. I think I'm going to definitely warn my teammates about, what to watch out for, just so, we'll have that kind of advantage on them, just having the inside scoop.
I feel like all of our away trips, especially for all of us that are, a lot of us are rookies, it's fun to be able to go to places maybe we haven't played before, or being on the road. And we've had success on the road, so that's exciting.
Yeah, it will be interesting. It will be obviously a lengthy trip for us, but again, a road one for us to focus on ourselves and just, a business trip, like we always say, and just get the job done. It's harder on the road to get a win, but we'll look at, Brooklyn this week and see where we can exploit them.
Speaking of this week's opponent, it's the first time Sporting JAX will be making the trek to New York. Here's what you need to know about Brooklyn FC. Brooklyn opened the season with a win, but since they've lost 3, drawn twice. In their last match, they fell 2-1 to Fort Lauderdale United. They play a physical and pragmatic style. No team in the league has scored fewer goals than Brooklyn, but they don't concede many. It'll be a good road test for Sporting JAX as they head to the Big Apple. And we welcome in Emerson Burris for this week's player feature. And this week he visited with defender and wingback Julia Lester, who is back here playing in her home state.
Absolutely. Julia Lester's soccer journey hasn't necessarily followed the usual script. She didn't start playing until she was 9, but her grit and love for the game have carried her all the way to the pros. Now here on loan from Seattle Reign, she's bringing that experience to Sporting JAX. Growing up in Apollo Beach, Florida, Julia Lester didn't always picture herself playing soccer. But the sport found its way into her life and quickly became her passion.
I started playing when I was around maybe 9 years old. One summer I just saw the camp counselors. They played in the high school close to my house, and they were playing around, and I just really wanted to play with them.
That start set the stage for her time at the University of Florida, where she transitioned from winger to defender.
I'd never played defense until college, so that was interesting to say the least, but I've always had that instinct of just protecting my teammates and protecting the goalie. I think that's just a part of me too, though, like how I play.
After college, her career took her overseas to Cyprus, where she grew as a player and a person.
I grew a lot into myself and just experiencing a different culture and being able to speak with people who didn't necessarily speak English.
Now back in the U.S. and in her home state of Florida, it makes this chapter even more meaningful.
But I think coming here, I've been able to see my family a little bit more, and even going back to Tampa when we played them, and my mom, my sister, my aunt, my high school coach, high school teacher, like, was important to me and very special.
Off the field, she's a coffee lover, a proud aunt to her nephew Declan, and the owner of a blind rescue cat named Bo.
When I picked him up, I then read his card and it said, like, I'm blind, and all the story behind it. And then he started purring. I'm like, wow, I can't put him down.
Hardworking, supportive, and gritty. 3 words Lester uses to describe herself and qualities she brings to Sporting JAX's back line.
I think all of those words are very apropos for her. Gritty especially. The way she plays, we've mentioned it, she does not back down. She is a hard worker and she gets it done out there on the pitch. Emerson, thanks so much. Speaking of Sporting JAX players, big news this week for Sydney Schmidt. The 17-year-old academy player who made her first Gainbridge Super League start last week for the club has been called up to the U.S. U17 squad for the U17 Women's World Cup. The tournament begins later this month in Morocco, and Schmidt will be once again wearing the U.S. crest on her shirt in international play. I want to invite you to check out the Sporting JAX YouTube channel as well. There you can find a new documentary shot during the club's first preseason. It's called First Touch, and here's a sample.
It's been really, really surprising to see how much support we've actually been getting from the community and how much inclusion and community engagement we've had, and you know, just the academy alone just being as big as what it is, and the support behind us, and the amount of parents that have come up to us and said how, you know, they are thrilled that they have now a team that they can call their own in their own backyard, and they're not having to drive 2 hours down the road to watch, you know, a women's soccer game. And so for us, it means everything.
Check that out at the YouTube channel for Sporting JAX. Introducing the Sporting Flex Pack. You get your seats for all the games you want, up to 4 games for just $60. That's $15 a piece. All part of the Sporting Flex Pack. Call 904-863-KICK or visit sportingjax.com/flex to lock in your pack today. Still to come, Mauricio Ruiz joins us to take a closer look at the USL Championship. That's next as the Sporting JAX Report rolls on. Every game of the Gainbridge Super League can be seen on Peacock. Home games for Sporting JAX can be seen on Channel 4 or right here on the stations of First Coast News. The next nationally televised USL Championship match is scheduled for Sunday when Rhode Island FC hosts Las Vegas Lights. Rhode Island is fighting for a playoff spot in the East, while Las Vegas, last year's finalists, are trying to get off the bottom of the table in the West. It's a 5 p.m. kickoff on ESPN2. Time now for the USL Championship Game of the Week, presented by Honda of the Avenues. And today, it's a Western Conference thriller between Phoenix Rising and the Oakland Roots. With just over a month to play, Phoenix has been hanging on to a playoff spot, while Oakland was looking to close the gap and make a late season run. To the desert we go. And a wild night in Phoenix, Rising and Roots in a toe-to-toe thriller that came down to the final minutes. First minute, got it going early. A dream start for the visitors. Danny Trejo steps up from outside the box, rifles a left-footed shot into the bottom corner. It's 1-0 Oakland in the opening minute. 9th minute now, Oakland doubles their lead. Panos Armanakis threads a through ball to Peter Wilson, who slots it into the bottom corner. A 2-0 Oakland lead. 22nd minute now, more from the Roots. They keep rolling on the counter. Trejo provides the setup again. This time it's Peter Wilson bearing his second of the night. 3-0 Oakland, and they are rolling. 45th minute now. Phoenix pulls one back before the break. Charlie Dennis pounces in the box and drives it home to cut the deficit to 3-1. We know how goals right before halftime can change the texture of a game. 86th minute. Phoenix Rising late drama free kick. Charlie Dennis, his brace brings Rising to within 1. It's a stoppage time now. And some chaos. Isan Sacco brought down in the penalty area by Gagi Margefalesi, and That leads to the PK. Remy Cabral blasts the shot into the corner. It's 3-3. A roller coaster in the desert. Oakland built a 3-goal lead, but Phoenix stormed back and finishes 3-3 the final. And we now welcome in Mauricio Ruiz. Mal, it is pretty amazing to see these thin margins in the USL Championship.
You're right. It's a league of who can make the least amount of mistakes and who can capitalize on your opponent's mistakes, because you're getting to a point in the season as playoff berth is on the line. You're trying to kind of make sure you're in. You're one of the teams that are in that grouping of 8 in your conference. And Phoenix is just hanging on by a thin thread there. And on the other side, Oakland Roots, as you just saw, Cole, I mean, what a game to give away. You're in Phoenix with a weather delay. You're up, and to allow Phoenix to get back. And interestingly enough, I mean, right before the tying goal on the free kick, Oakland Roots had a breakaway to put the game away and make it 4-1, I think, at the time. And they've allowed Phoenix to come back. And Phoenix is a good side. They have some good players, as you saw. But Oakland, with new coach, new management, they really needed this game. They're on 3 games in a row on a tie. This would have been a win that actually would have put them right there on the line. But as of right now, they sit in 11 out of 12 places. So difficult place for Oakland Roots. And Phoenix Rising just kind of hanging on by a thread in 7th place in the West.
All right, speaking of the standings in the West, you see the top 2 teams, Tulsa and Sacramento. They have both clinched playoff spots now with a little more than a month ago in the season. New Mexico United, San Antonio, El Paso, all in pretty good shape right now. But a team like Orange County, Monterey Bay, have some work to do to try to get into that top 8. The top 8 from each conference makes it to the postseason. In the Eastern Conference, 2 teams have also made it and clinched their spots. Lou City, who has been running away with things in the East. Then you look at the big gap with Charleston Battery. Those 2 teams are in. Now, the question is, who are the other 6 teams going to be from the Eastern Conference? Right now, you've got Indy 11 and Detroit City there on 32 points. They would be in if the season ended today, with Rhode Island, Tampa, Birmingham, and Miami. Miami falling off. Maybe Tampa can make a move, but they're going to have to close some ground in a hurry. Group tickets are on sale now for the Sporting JAX inaugural season. Groups of 10 or more can enjoy the best prices for single game tickets. Gather your friends, family, and coworkers to enjoy a night at Sporting JAX. General admission for group tickets, just $22. Club seats start at $39 per seat. Call 904-863-KICK or go to sportingjax.com to order your group tickets for pro soccer in Jacksonville. Still to come, how the Sporting JAX Foundation is bringing the game to more kids than ever before with the help of U.S. Soccer. That's next, right here on the Sporting JAX Report. The inaugural Sporting JAX kits have been unveiled. In fact, all 3, home, away, and that 3rd kit, have all been played on the field. If you want to get yours, use the QR code on your screen or go to sportingjax.com/shop to check out the new online store. Time now for the Youth Soccer Spotlight presented by the Bearded Pig Barbecue. Emerson Burris rejoins us here. And Emerson, this week we saw a groundbreaking event, literally.
Yes, big news for the Jacksonville soccer community this week. The Gainbridge Super League and Sporting JAX are teaming up with the Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Florida to build the league's first ever community mini pitch. The new field will be located at the Baxter E. Luther Boys and Girls Club, home to hundreds of students every day. It's the first of at least 5 planned mini pitches across the Gainbridge Super League cities nationwide. Officials say the project is designed to give kids safe and inspiring places to play soccer. Built by Musco Lighting, the mini pitch will feature a professional grade playing surface, fencing, seating, and lights. Leaders say the initiative is more about building pitches. It's about bringing the game closer to kids and creating new opportunities.
This particular Boys and Girls Club, they're going to have 500 kids play on this court in 1 week. So the actual ripple effect of soccer being in the neighborhood, being accessible like this, having the lights, it's just going to be an amazing asset.
This will be an unbelievable experience for our kids because they don't usually really know about soccer or get to play soccer. Their sports in their mind are football and basketball. So this is like opening up a whole new world for them. And now we get to teach them a sport where they don't have to use their hands.
How cool would it be if some student who'd never played soccer before was exposed to it, and we could look back in 20 years from now and they were a member of the World Cup team representing the United States. So, so much of these opportunities with the Boys and Girls Clubs are just giving the kids the opportunity or the exposure to these sorts of things.
The partnership between Sporting JAX, Gainbridge, the Gainbridge Super League, and the Boys and Girls Club is something truly special. I think it's a model as we think about how our clubs can connect in with true community impact and be part of leading in each of our cities.
It took months of planning and partnership to make this mini pitch a reality, but organizers say the real work begins now as hundreds of kids get the chance to discover the game for the very first time.
I talk about impact a lot with Sporting JAX, particularly with the women's team. Legacy is what I think about with this project, because this is one that's going to be there paying it back to the community for a long, long time. Emerson,
absolutely. Thanks
so much. For more on Sporting JAX in the world of soccer, join Mark Warbert and Stacey Balaam and a player who come on every week, Tuesday night at 6 on 1010XL for the Coaches Show presented by Sporting JAX. And be sure to join Mauricio, Becky, and me every Thursday night at 6 for the Sporting JAX Soccer Hour. That's on AM 930 Fox Sports Radio or the iHeart app. Still to come, Mauricio rejoins me. We'll take a closer look at Sydney Schmidt's opportunity at the U17 World Cup. That's next as the Sporting JAX Report rolls on. You can watch the Sporting JAX Report next Sunday at noon on ABC 25. You can also find us on demand on First Coast News Plus and the Sporting JAX YouTube channel. We welcome back Mauricio Ruiz. Mal, we mentioned earlier that Sydney Schmidt will be representing the U.S. in the U17 World Cup. What a great opportunity for her.
Yeah, I mean, that's what opportunity provides. Sydney Schmidt, she's been a wonderful youth player that's been on the rise for several years now. I mean, you talk to anyone that's been around her, she's pretty incredible and she's the real deal. And now she's getting an opportunity to train and play, get her debut in a professional environment. So it only makes sense that she is getting called to the World Cup. I mean, great first experience. Remember, this World Cup will happen every year now. The Under-17 Boys and Girls World Cup will happen on a yearly basis. And Sydney Schmidt will be able to represent not only her family, first and foremost, her club, but her country now in a really good environment, as already debuting as a professional player on an academy contract, mind you. So it's huge for her, it's huge for the club, and it's great for the community of Jacksonville, which just continues to develop fantastic young women playing at a high level.
Mauricio, thank you so much, and thanks to you for watching the Sporting JAX Report. We'll catch you next week.